It's rare that you get smoked by the Bengals and I start Monday happy and excited. Why? We're not firing anybody today. It is Black Monday in the NFL. There are jobs being fired and GMs hitting the road and Commanders taking a page out of the Browns book. We'll go to the NBA to get some more, guys. We got none of that this morning. I don't even care what happened yesterday because we wake up today. Playoff week. Can I I want everybody to soak that phrase in right now. That it is playoff week. Yes. Yes. The Cleveland Browns gear up for a playoff game Saturday, by the way. We'll talk about the time that the Browns got for the Houston Texans. But in a day that the rest of the league, in a day that the Browns usually participated in. A day that I covered many of press conferences of owners trying to say why they moved on from a coach. You got none of that. And we gear up for a playoff game this weekend for your Cleveland Browns. I'm going to be happy about it all week. We're so excited to get rolling. The national championship tonight. Our typical boost will go around the league. The bracket makes its return to the show. We got you locked and loaded on a Monday edition right here on Big Play. Welcome to the show, everybody. I am Matt Fontana. He is Ryan Tyler. Good morning and a very happy playoff week to you, Ryan. Good morning.
Good morning, Matt. It's always a great start to a week when you get. I know we didn't get a win, but
they played yesterday.
But we've got our fair share.
31-14.
We've gotten a healthy amount of victory Mondays this year, and I'm really grateful for it. And
it feels like a victory.
And I'm really excited in a week from now to get our first playoff victory Monday.
Well, since the Steelers game, but that was COVID, and that was a little while ago. But it's a long time coming, folks. I listen. We'll talk a little bit about the game yesterday. Kind of mission accomplished about getting out of there, not hurt, Pierre Strong, some of the other stuff. But nonetheless, yesterday, great. Okay, fine. But, dude, we wake up today, like, the game is so far away. We're Saturday at 4:30. I figured it was going to be one of the early slots. I did. Padone had a good tweet. We kick off the playoff weekend, 4:30 on Saturday. You rested the guys, which is yet another factor. I might be diving too much into this, Ryan, because I know the Texans played Saturday too, which I think we kind of knew at that point. Like when they played Saturday, you figured they were going to go Saturday. We were going to face them. That's kind of how it played out. It made a lot of sense. But getting your guys that rest was so important. It's going to be a short week again. And, dude, I can't tell. Like, I just wake up so excited. I wake up so excited for this week. It's going to be a little different moving up. You're going to be on the road down there in Houston. But these are the things that you can't take for granted. You mentioned it. This year, we've had a lot of wins. We've had a lot of turmoil. But a day like today, and I don't know if people are quite feeling it yet. We have a whole week to go. And yesterday was just kind of a played out 60 minutes of football, get out of there as quick as you can. But I wake up today, like, man, yes. Like, you are one of the teams left standing. And we don't have a lot of experience with playoffs. I know that, right? But I hope I never lose this feeling. There are some teams that are the bougie teams, right? They still win 11 games and they feel like the sky is falling. If you're an Eagles fan, you don't wake up today excited. If you're a Chiefs fan, you're like, yeah, well, okay, we'll see how it plays out, all that other kind of stuff. I wake up today hoping that I never lose this feeling. And I frankly think I won't as a Browns fan because I remember the bad times. I remember the lean times. And it's all come to this point. Are the Browns going to go win the Super Bowl? They have a chance to. I've got updated Super Bowl odds I was going to get to this morning. I've got playoff rankings of all 14 teams that are in. Where are the Browns? I think they should be a little higher, but we'll get to that a little bit later. But you're in this thing. You are in the tournament. You want to be included. You want to be a part of this. Dude, oh man, it feels so good. And it's not just, hey, I'm happy to be here, happy that we get to participate. I fully expect them to go beat the Houston Texans on Saturday. I do. People are a little drunk on what they did on Saturday, and I'm not saying CJ Stroud is not very good. And we saw Nico Collins up in person. He's good, right? But a lot of the other matchups that they have, Will Anderson came limping out of that game on Saturday, did he not? There are things that I expect out of the Cleveland Browns. But to be here, to be a part of it, you are in the group with some elite teams. Now, there's some non-elite teams. Sorry, Baker. How the Steelers. People thought our stadium was built on like a burial ground and was cursed. That stadium must be built on the luckiest spot in America. It's impossible because it's in Pittsburgh. I'm just kidding. I like Pittsburgh. It's fine. The city is fine. I don't like their football team, but I like the city. The luck that they have there. So it's not every team is elite, but you are in the same. Like, I wake up this morning, you're in the same group as the San Francisco 49ers. You're in the same group as the Baltimore Ravens. They're not playing this weekend, I know, but you are in the playoffs. And I don't want fans to ever take that for granted. It's Monday. We had a long week to go. I understand all of that, but it's just the excitement, the things that we have gone through just as Browns fans in our lives. No matter how old you are, you've seen a lot of stuff, right? I don't want to take that for granted. I don't ever want to wake up and just put my nose up. Oh, we're in the playoffs. Oh, okay. I guess it'd maybe be nice to get to that because that means we're just, 5 years of 11 wins in a row, shooting for playoffs. And maybe that'll change, but I'm never going to lose sight of that. I'm never going to lose the fact that we are in the playoffs and you made it. You have shown to be one of the best teams in football. Got to go out and prove it. But I'm super excited this morning. We wake up for playoff week. And it does add that around the league, if you're just waking up, Arthur Smith fired last night from the Atlanta Falcons. We knew Ron Rivera was going to be out this morning. He's gone. They took the GM with them. Fitter is out in Carolina. Washington's doing some weird things, going to get Bob Myers. And it's kind of like the NBA. It's Paul DePodesta 2.0. They are going to get somebody who's really smart in another sport saying, hey, come fix our football team here. But you see it around the league, and I want to be sympathetic. There are guys that lost their job today. There are people, there are families that are impacted by this that are no longer employed. As a lot of people know, I can relate to that very much now. So I'm respectful of that. And there are times that, yes, I can't tell you, Ryan, how many press conferences I was sitting at the end of the year and we're going to get this search right and our search begins right now and we have a wide pool of candidates. We don't got to worry about any of that stuff. None of that stuff. You get geared up for a playoff game. You're not going to get the smile off my face, man.
Did you happen to see who's favored in our game?
The Browns.
Remember?
1.5 point.
Remember? I said they would be.
You did, Ryan. I felt like they would be favored against Houston and Indianapolis. The Jags, I didn't know. Oh, God, the Jags, man. We'll go around the league. Hold that.
So unserious.
Dude, what is up with that? What is going on down there? And we did that question last week of who you wanted to play out. And I think a lot of people were leaning the Colts. I want to go back to that question because correct me if I'm wrong, Ryan. I think the Houston Texans finished last in our poll last week of the team that you wanted to face.
Yeah, that was the one we voted we wanted to stay away from, and that mimicked our friend Noah Weiskopf from OBR, his article he put out.
And it kind of comes back to Stroud. It kind of comes back to when they're healthy, when they're clicking, they're going. And I didn't think Houston was going to win that game. I thought they were kind of floundering here towards the end of the season. But they got a nice win over the Colts. The Jags completely imploded, and you now go down to face the Houston Texans. With all that being said, the Browns we know yesterday did not play anybody. I was upset that I had to see Jerome Ford get carries, to be honest with you. It was a game that I expected. Bell and Tillman, and again, Ford had to get some carries and some catches. Kareem Hunt was in there. I was pretty happy that defensively, and this is not meant to be a shot at all, Shelby Harris walked off, and there's a video, and he goes, no, I'm good to go. The Browns were able to accomplish their goal. They sat a lot of their guys, and they got out of it relatively healthy, and you're geared up and ready to go. We're going to post our Twitter question this morning, though, at Matt Fontana Show. Drop us a follow there. If you're watching on the YouTube, you can always check us out on Twitter as well. We're on at Matt Fontana Show on YouTube, and, of course, the Big Play YouTube channel as well. Are you concerned about the Browns layoff? Are you concerned about the Browns sitting their guys yesterday, gearing up for this Houston game? Vote on that. But before anybody votes, because Ryan hasn't even put the poll out yet, I'm going to sway your vote. I don't like doing that because I want to see how truly the fans feel about it, but I'm going to sway your vote and tell you that it means nothing. The Browns sitting their players on Sunday was the right call, and it was the good call. Here's the reason why. Joe Flacco was sitting on his couch came in and played pretty well. I'm not worried about the rust with Joe Flacco. Then the other positions that I would look at. Myles Garrett doesn't need practice to go get the quarterback. Amari Cooper has played a lot of football. He doesn't need the practice to run routes. And at this point, he and Flacco seem to be on the right page. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Tell anybody listening right now, don't worry about the Browns sitting down. They got some rest, which was needed. Oh, well, momentum. And you're telling me that this team, with everything that they've gone through this year, they need more momentum? They need more on everything that they had to go through this year? No, they don't. They do not. The NFL is so singular on how they approach these games. It's a new opponent. And I really think another part, the Browns, the taste, right? They all practiced last week, sure, but they sat out of that game. You know what they probably showed up this morning in Berea doing? Saying, dude, let's get to work. Like, let's go. Let's get raring to go. They were all sitting on that sideline of a meaningless game yesterday. Hopefully, again, not that they needed it, but it can reinvigorate we were out of a game, we're back in now. We're going, we're rocking now. I'm not concerned about it in the least. I understand some people that want to bring that up, but it's kind of as a fan, you try to sometimes figure out or find the negatives. I would say poke a hole in the situation, but you want the Browns to win. So part of winning, here's what we do really well, but you also, all right, where are deficiencies? All right, what are we going to circle here? What do I have to worry about? And you're going to bring up them resting as something that you got to worry about because it's a fluke. It's a little bit of an anomaly. Now, that being said, you're in a better spot than the Houston Texans. They had a really tough game to play on Saturday. Will Anderson re-aggravated that ankle. Is that magically going to get fixed? You could be the Philadelphia Eagles. A.J. Brown goes down with a knee injury, and Jalen Hurts' finger was a Z. Dislocated his finger on his throwing hand. I think I just dislocated mine. Jeez, that hurt. Sorry. Not as spry as I used to be at one point. You could have played a really hard game with a lot of hard snaps and come out of that game a little sore today. You didn't have to worry about that. You didn't have to worry about that for the vast majority of your team. And with where the Browns are at, their bye was so early in the season. What was it, week 5, I think, something like that? One of the earliest buys you can get. And then you had the Thursday night game, which was nice to get that full weekend off. I think it's such a positive. The Browns got a bye on top of a bye. They got that weekend off on Thursday, and you turn around and you didn't play anybody yesterday. And I'll be open to this, and this is why I want the fans to tell me. Tweet it at MattFontana83, at RyanTyler33, at Matt Fontana Show. I do want to hear people that are concerned because I am going to be your guiding light in this. I'm going to be the one that'll ease your worries. Tell me why you're upset. Tell me why you're concerned, and I will ease you off of that. Ryan, I don't know how you feel about it this morning. If you need some easement from me, I got it for you. I am not concerned in the least about the Browns sitting their guys yesterday. Not at all.
No, you can save your guidance for them.
I was saying, because I'm sure some people out there are going to need it. I'm sure there's some people out there that are going to need it, and I'm here for you.
But no, it's health is everything for this playoff stretch run, obviously. We're playing our best football going in the playoffs, which is the teams that are playing their best football come January, are the teams that go on to play in the big dance. So I'm not concerned at all. And then you look at teams like the Ravens and 49ers. I mean, they basically have a 2-week layoff, and I don't think they're really worried about it. They're going to get ready and prepare. So we're going to do the same thing, and we'll be all right.
And there is the element that the Ravens are off, because people will dive into that and they'll jump onto the bye. And there are sometimes top seeds, and it was more back in the day when there were 2 buys and teams set out and then they came out and they kind of looked lackadaisical or they weren't really sharp. The difference is the Browns practiced all last week. You know, Myles Garrett still went through practice, got on a plane, went to Cincinnati, hopefully avoided that god-awful chili. He stood on the sidelines and watched his team play. The Ravens are off, right? I didn't look into their – are you laughing about the god-awful chili thing? You went to the University of Cincinnati, so you had to deal with it a lot more.
Yeah, we'll talk. I'm sure we'll talk about it later.
When we get to the good, the bad, and the ugly, did you see my good, the bad, and the ugly from yesterday? So we'll get to that later.
It reminded me of the Spurs' awful tweet.
The Spurs.
Their awful attempt. You didn't see that yesterday?
No, I didn't see it, no.
They tweeted, you know how they played the Cavs, obviously. They tweeted, did you lose some money on that?
I took them alternate in the game, -3.5.
Oh.
I thought that was a lock.
Nope.
They were 10-point favorites, and I didn't like it. So what I did was the smart Matt Fontana rule, let the game start. Of course, the Spurs are playing us close. I got it live, Ryan, on a primo, -3.5. And they were up by what, 8 or 10 with like a minute and a half to go.
Yeah, it shouldn't have been that close. But I don't know how you didn't see the tweet. It was circulating. It was a picture of a boot with a spur over Skyline Chili, and they thought Cleveland.
Oh God,
was
what a
Skyline
miss.
Chili.
Hey, do not put us in that.
And the Cavs tweeted wrong city, good try, and the Spurs deleted their tweet.
That's why I don't see it.
So they took
nice.
They took go look at Reflog. He took on his Twitter. He took a screenshot of
Good.
it. But they deleted the tweet.
Screenshots don't get
They
deleted.
deleted the tweet, so they took 2 L's yesterday.
Like it.
You see
Cat?
it?
I'm scrolling down on Reflog's thing. Reflog's the best. You see that Cincinnati version of Taylor Swift yesterday? Jake Browning's lady friend.
Yes.
It's going. Oh, I see it now. I see it. I see it. Wrong city. Good try. There you go. Well done, Cavs. Nice job on the Cavs. Yeah, they didn't cover, but that's okay. But Miles, we were talking about Myles Garrett avoiding Skyline Chili. We'll take sponsors on this show, like advertising on this show, not Skyline Chili. So Myles went through the motions. The team went through the motions. And I didn't look up to see what the Ravens are doing this week or the 49ers, but I imagine that it's a true bye week. The guys will be off for a couple of days and then get back. That would be my concern. And we've seen that in the past when the guys leave. When Odell goes out and rents a boat. Oh, wait a minute. He's doing it again in Baltimore. It's when the guys get out of the facility. That would be where the mind wanders and you start to get. These guys went through a week of practice. And I think that they are very focused. The other thing about being worried about a team having to sit down, you worry about focus. The Browns, say what you want about them, good or bad. They are an extremely focused team. You don't go through all of the injuries. You don't go through all of the issues that they've had this year without being focused. Yeah, sometimes that's toughness or the mentality, but you got to be focused. You still have to believe, but you got to be on the job. You got to say this is what we need to do. I know it's coach speak. You talk about putting the blinders up, right? This Browns team seems to be an extremely focused team. That's why a week off that doesn't bother me. The week off, well, it's a mentality. It's a mental thing. Physical, I guess, if you feel like, you're not running your routes crisp, but it comes back to a mental thing. Are you engaged? Are you in the game? And you will find out Saturday, come 4:30, if the Browns start off a little slow, but I'm not concerned about it. I really am not. And you add that you're on the road. Trust me, I wish it was a home game. But another thing to ease anybody's mind, you got to go on the road. And coach talked about business trip. You're going to go on the road the rest of the way out here. That even adds to the focus level. That even adds more. We're getting on this plane. It's us against them. I know there's going to be a good chunk of Browns fans down there. I mean, we're going to travel. I know there's people going to the game. I know some people actually are going to be down there for the game. So there's going to be a good contingent there, but you're still in hostile territory, right? You're on the road. That's another reason why I'm not concerned at all. I'm not concerned at all. I'm going to ask this morning for anybody out there that is concerned about the Browns being off for the past weekend. I'm not worried about it at all. If you need me to ease your mind on it, I will. I've got some more things to bring up on it, so we'll come up there a little bit later. To the time, 4:30 on Saturday, which I saw this from Warren Sharp, which is just genius. The Chiefs are the late game Saturday. What is the late game Saturday, Ryan? The Peacock exclusive streaming. And the NFL just got a bunch of Swifties to sign up for Peacock. Well done. I figured it was going to be early. I didn't think it was going to be Monday. And not saying that we don't deserve prime time, but prime time was going to be Jalen Hurts. It is. Prime time was going to be, what's the Sunday night game? Is that the Dolphins-Bills run back? It's got to be, right?
Let me do some research.
All right. Late game Sunday. Rams-Lions. Oh, Stafford's going back. Okay, so that's good. So Steelers-Bills. Oh, that's right, because the Bills won. So it's not their run back. So here's your full rundown. Browns-Texans, 4:30 on Saturday. Dolphins-Chiefs, which will be a great game Saturday night on Peacock. Steelers-Bills, 1 o'clock Sunday. Packers-Cowboys, Sunday, 4:30. Cowboys just own that 4:30 window, so that makes a lot of sense there. Rams-Lions, Sunday night. And then, of course, Monday night, you have the Eagles and the Buccaneers. Kind of a letdown in there, but...
Well, let me ask you this, Matt. I know this is going to sound crazy, but should Miami beat Kansas City, which is plausible?
Yeah.
Although that's going to hurt them. They're playing in that... It's supposed to be like...
It's negative
freezing.
15.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be like negative 15 there.
They're not used to playing in that. But
No.
should they beat Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs, would you dare root for the Steelers to beat the Bills?
Then we're talking about
a home game.
And avoiding the Baltimore Ravens.
Right.
Which I'm not afraid of anybody, but there's something to be played out.
So if you had to pick, would you want the Steelers to
Oh,
win?
yeah, I'll root. Yeah. When it benefits the Browns, I'll root for the Steelers. The Ravens, never. I don't know. There's something about that. Never. It's like Michigan. Even if there was something that would benefit Ohio State, I can never root for Michigan. Oh, wait. We'll get to our boost for tonight. National championship tonight. Go Huskies! Yeah! Come on, Penix! God, do I hope they win tonight. You're not feeling it. You're feeling Michigan already.
Yeah,
you told me that. You say,
I think Michigan's going to win. I'd be
hope
surprised.
not.
But,
I mean,
Washington proved me wrong every time I thought they were going to lose,
yeah.
so we'll see.
We'll get to our typical boost. We do have a new code for everybody, by the way, Fontana 100. So when you sign up, deposit and bet $25 on Tipico, use the code Fontana, Fontana 100, and you get $100 in bonus bets with Tipico. We do have a boost, and we'll reveal it a little bit later in the show. Get you signed up with Tipico. But I don't mind rooting for the Steelers when it benefits the Browns. And in that situation, yes, I'd love to have a home game, another playoff game, all that. So I'd root for the Steelers in that scenario. How extremely unlikely that looks, yeah, we know. Because the Bills, very impressive in their win this past weekend. So you imagine the Steelers. You imagine it's going to go semi-chalk, outside of that. And then for the Browns on Saturday, 4:30, I like that you're kicking off the playoff weekend. You start the playoff weekend, you're it. Saturday's a little fluky for me. I love the Saturday games, but it's a little bit of a twist. I don't know. Do you like it? Do you like the 4:30 game on Saturday, Ryan, for the Browns?
I prefer it. I wish it was Sunday.
I wish it was Sunday,
but
too.
I'd
really
rather have
wish
it be at
Sunday.
4:30 than the late game, personally.
Yeah, late game, you're sitting around, you're anxious the whole day. It kind of sucks. So I guess if we had to pick, I'd prefer Sunday too, but the fact that you're Saturday 4:30 is a good spot there. Our Twitter question is up at Matt Fontana Show. We're asking everybody, are you at all concerned that the Browns sat their guys yesterday against the Cincinnati Bengals? We're no here on the show. I'd love to get some response on it. If you are concerned, right now, early results, this is 90-10. People are saying they're not concerned. I think that speaks a lot about where this team is at and exactly just kind of the feel that we have for it. For that game yesterday, you didn't learn much. I mean, you started Jeff Driscoll because you wanted to see maybe if he's going to be your backup for the rest of the playoffs and next. I don't know. At that point, started out not great. Had some nice throws later. David Bell, 2 touchdowns in that game, which was nice to see. All in all, so what? You got out of it relatively healthy, which was your main goal. Trying to take things away from it, I don't know.
I was going to ask you, Matt, I guess if you want to do like a scale 1 to 10, 10 being you're the most worried, where are you right now on Cedric Tillman? Because his name was on the Twitter sphere quite a lot yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, listen, the issue with Cedric Tillman is this. You put a lot of hype on that pick. I know I did, right? Because at that point, you were needing wide receivers. You took him in the 3rd round. There was some upside. He was a guy that I had a lot of hope for, frankly, because he was projected to be a 2nd-round pick, sometimes even a 1st-round pick before his last season at Tennessee. Then he hurt his ankle, and he wasn't the same guy. His draft stock fell a little bit, and I felt like the Browns found a diamond in the rough there, and they've done that a couple of times over. I like the big body. I like how he's put together as a wide receiver. He's a rookie. He's going to make some mistakes like he did yesterday. He's made some mistakes in other pivotal games that led to some interceptions for Joe Flacco. It kind of is what it is. Now, the issue is, moving forward, the Browns still need wide receivers. Regardless of how this plays out the rest of the year, they're going to need to go get some wide receivers for Deshaun Watson next year. I think Elijah Moore's not quite turned out the way you thought. You got some questions around everybody outside of Amari Cooper, right? So you're going to put pressure on Cedric Tillman to fill some of those gaps, to fill that bucket up. I will one day. I don't know if today is that day. I don't know if today's that day. And I'm not going to look to a meaningless game with the Browns yesterday and try to start poking holes in it. He's learning. He's getting reps. You got to coach him up. And if anything, we know that offseason between the first and the second year is one of the most pivotal ones of any NFL player, right? So get him some coaching up. He's going to be able to finally get a break. You talk about that grind of a rookie going right from your college season to the combine, right into the rookie mini or draft NFL rookie mini camp, all that. So it's a grind. So I'm not concerned. To answer your question, I'm not concerned. He's a young guy. He's got some talented things about him. Let's work on it a little bit. Same thing for the rest of that team yesterday. You got out of it pretty unscathed. So what? Cincinnati got a 31-14 win. Congratulations to them. Hoorah. Great. Who day? They're going home is who they are. You like that?
I did like that.
Who day?
That's
Who day going home?
That stuff is so stupid to me.
I mean, everybody. It comes from a marketing person like Duval and all that.
That's actually cool, though.
See, the thing is, you got to just find the cool one.
Yeah.
The Browns don't really have that, which is funny because
but we're the dogs. Like,
we're the dog. I get there's times I can get upset. Have enough of that too. But watching all the playoff, they put the bracket up, all that kind of stuff. Just seeing the Browns helmet. Everybody else has a logo. That's always been my thing. We don't have a logo. We're just the helmet. It's kind of cool. I think I've maybe done a 180 on that where it doesn't bother me so much, but it's funny just to see as everybody lays it out where they got this logo and then you just have the Browns helmet just kind of sitting there. All right, let's do this. Let's catch our break. When we come back, I do want to look around the league. A lot of hirings, a lot of firings. Not a lot of hirings, a lot of firings going on around the league, so hirings to be coming. And also more on the Browns to get ready for the Houston Texans. This matchup, C.J. Stroud, you didn't see him in that game. You didn't. What do you think about C.J. Stroud getting ready for this game between the Browns and the Houston Texans coming up this weekend down at NRG Stadium? We got a lot of that. We'll get to our boost for the national championship. We will do time hop today. We're going to go around the league. Got you locked and loaded, taking up to 11 o'clock right here. Big play. It's the Fontana Show. All right, back here on the Fontana Show, playoff week for the Cleveland Browns, gearing up for the Houston Texans. I do want to talk about the C.J. Stroud matchup against Joe Flacco, to like the complete opposite ends of the spectrum when it comes to this game on Saturday and a lot of the moves around the NFL. But I want to start here as well with Myles Garrett. He didn't play yesterday. Ryan, do you still feel like he's going to win Defensive Player of the Year? That's a question that is now answered, where Trey Hendrickson got that sack. He's going to, I think, finish with the most sacks. T.J. Watt got hurt, so he's out of the playoff run there for the Steelers. But the question remains, because coming out of that game, it was something that I thought about. Like, it was something that was in the back of my mind where I feel like Kevin Stefanski's your coach of the year. By the way, Dan Campbell put Sam Laporta in that game, and now he's hurt. So, again, Campbell's out. There's no way he's winning that award. But I thought about Myles Garrett with the Defensive Player of the Year. So Watt will finish with the sack crown. He has 19. Hendrickson and Josh Allen, not that one, the other one, has 17.5. Khalil Mack, 17. Danielle Hunter, 16.5. Max Crosby, 14.5. Myles Garrett tied for 7th with 14 sacks. There are people that I know that are concerned, that they think Myles not. And we asked that question last week. And I sit here happy he didn't play. I sit here, I didn't have to worry about him twisting an ankle. You know, I joked with somebody. Knowing our luck, somebody texted me about why Joe Flacco didn't play, right? And they said, doesn't he need like reps and all that? And I go, knowing our luck, one of our guys would walk out onto the field for pregame and trip on a sprinkler head and tear their Achilles. Now, the inside joke on that is they have turf down there in Cincinnati. They don't have regular grass. So wouldn't that just be the ultimate thing? So I'm happy he didn't play. I start by saying I'm happy that Myles Garrett didn't play. And a couple of sacks in a meaningless game, I don't know if it would have swayed anything. The fact that he was so far behind, like even if he went out there and got 2.5 sacks, which would be a tough thing to do, Ryan, that would only tie him for 5th. You know, it's not like he needed a sack to take over the total. I'm happy he didn't play. I'm trying to ward off the negative thoughts that it's going to impact Defensive Player of the Year. I still think he's going to win the award. I still hope he wins the award. Let me put it that way. I really hope he wins the award. I don't know if I feel so confident anymore to say that that's a lock that he's going to win it, but I hope he does. Do you think it changed for you at all after this weekend?
I still think he's going to win it. I am obviously a little bit less optimistic given the fact that TJ Watt got that sack crown. I think I saw his brother JJ was hyping him up on Twitter. I think
he's going to do that.
He said it was like TJ Watt's the only player to like, what was it, back-to-back years of leading the league in sacks or something like that. So that is a really crazy stat. I still feel okay saying that Myles is going to win it. I'll say this. I do still think absolutely Myles should win it. But to answer your question, I'm a little bit concerned now.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. No, the Browns have a playoff game we're gearing up for. But that's an award that means something to me. That's an award that I want Myles Garrett to win. I think he deserves it. And it'll remain to be seen. And it'll also tell you kind of how you focus, like how these awards go, right? Are they going to look at beyond just the sack total and look some of the advanced stats? I just wonder about it because last week, I will admit I was in a better place with it, right? Where I was talking myself into it's not going to matter and I want Myles to sit, but I want him to win that award. Now, after the game was played, I guess I just don't know. You know, I don't know. I just sit there and I'm kind of like, yeah. I hope he wins it. I do. Am I confident enough? I still have a bet. I still have a bet out there for Myles Garrett. It's open right now. There were times I could have cashed it out and taken a little profit, but I'm going to ride this out. So I'm with you, Myles. I certainly hope he wins that award. To C.J. Stroud versus Joe Flacco this weekend. So you watch this game on Saturday, and you're reminded in a way of what C.J. Stroud can be. And I think he's going to be very special in this league. I think he's going to be a guy the Browns are going to have to face for a long time coming. And isn't that, of course, the thing? The question is the Browns' defense against C.J. Stroud. Because you didn't see him in that game a couple of weeks ago, which I think, who does that benefit more? A conversation I'm pretty sure we'll have throughout the week. The fact that Stroud didn't see the Browns' defense a couple of weeks ago, do you think that benefits him more or the Browns' defense more?
My initial reaction, I think it benefits the Browns defense more than it benefits Stroud. I would look at it as CJ Stroud, as good as he's been this year, and he's been phenomenal, he's still a rookie.
Very
the
good
Browns
point.
defense is probably going to be the best defense that he faces all year. So I more so think that let's throw CJ Stroud out there for the first time of seeing this Browns defense rather than I'm trying to think of a better way to put it, but I'll just say that. I think having this be the first time that he goes against this elite defense, which we think is the best in the NFL, I think it's going to benefit us more so.
Here's where I think it. You can watch CJ Stroud tape and know every throw that he's going to give you. He can't watch the Browns defense and know exactly what they're going to bring for him. They're going to tailor it for him. We know the Browns run a lot of man defense and they love man-to-man coverage. They're going to get in his, like, that would be my thing. And more watching some of these games over the weekend, you realize the pressure, the all-out blitzes that the Bills were giving to Tua Tagovailoa yesterday, even to Josh Allen at point. That's something that I'm going to watch for this Saturday, right? Get in Stroud's face and make it tough. I think I'm with you. I think it benefits the Browns defense so much more that Stroud didn't see them. Because you want to know what CJ Stroud's doing this morning? He's probably doing it yesterday, actually. He's watching all this tape for the Browns defense and going, oh, man. Oh, wait a minute here.
They got some dudes.
They got some dogs over there. And I got to worry about these guys. And I don't know what they're going to throw at me. A couple of weeks ago, had I played against them, I might have had a little feel of what it was like. CJ Stroud doesn't know what it's like to have Myles Garrett breathing down his neck, right? I think that really, really benefits the Cleveland Browns defense. Now, for Stroud to get back in there, he played a really good. I honestly, I was like, man, is he gonna, is this game gonna be what? Oh boy, he played pretty well, right? 20 out of 26, 2 touchdowns, 264. Impressive stuff. Nico Collins, very good. Now, you did see Nico Collins in that game, so there's a little bit of a matchup game to be played there. Then you flip it over for Joe Flacco. In essence, the only guy that he didn't see was Will Anderson, right? Okay. Well, Joe Flacco's got 15 years in the NFL, 15 years of facing premier pass rushers. This edge is 100% on the Cleveland Browns.
No shade to Will Anderson, but for a guy who stood on the other side of the line for years for 2 Hall of Famers, and Ray Lewis and Ed Reed, I don't think he's too much concerned about Will Anderson.
And that's the thing, just in Flacco's career, right? I mean, he went up. I'm trying to think of the premier pass rushers in the AFC North of a generation of when Flacco was playing.
Yeah.
Who was it? Brett Kiesel? Wasn't that the guy for the Steelers?
I have no idea. Brett Kiesel?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Isn't that him? The guy, he had a beard.
I'm trying to think of like dominant edge rushers before
it was
before
Kiesel.
the TJ Watts.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like I'm trying to think about that era, but you get what I'm saying, right? Of that generation, Flacco has seen it, right? He's been there. And also, just on that, Joe Flacco's won a Super Bowl. This is CJ Stroud's first playoff game.
Yeah.
And another factor of them being at home. And shout out to Bo Bishop, Bo hosts down in Columbus, Cleveland Browns Daily. And Bo had a line about the Buckeyes that I've grabbed onto that I've always kept, that sometimes playing at home can feel suffocating. Even though you're at home with your fans at the stadium that you're at more often than not, you can feel suffocated by that. And I think about that with CJ Stroud. With Houston Texans, I'm trying to put myself in the shoes of a Texans fan. They're happy to be here. They're super excited. Nobody saw this coming with DeMeco Ryans and CJ Stroud. So there's an element you'd say, oh, they're just, they'll take with whatever they can get. And they're just happy that they made it as far as they did and had the year that they had. Sure. But you're also at home. So things start to go bad with CJ Stroud, or the Boo Bird's going to start coming. I don't think so. But there's something to be said about there's so much pressure on Stroud. And make no mistake, he feels like he has to do it, right? Even more so than Joe Flacco, a guy that came in and set all those records for a 5-game stretch and, the 300 yards that he keeps throwing for. Houston knows that they have no prayer if CJ Stroud is not their best player. Yes, he's throwing in Nico Collins, and you have Devin Singletary to run the ball, and defensively they're going to have some guys that need to step up, sure. But CJ Stroud is a rookie quarterback. What is he, 21 years old? He's entering a playoff game on Saturday at home, and he feels like he's got to do it all. He feels like he's got to be the one to lead the Texans to a win. That's a lot of pressure, man.
22.
22 years old. There you go.
I am 9 months older than him.
Wow.
That's crazy.
I don't want to tell you how much older I am than CJ Stroud and Ryan, but that's okay. So there's so much. It's crazy to think about this matchup, to say the Browns have the quarterback edge in this. And even if you want to look at it statistically, we know the gaudy numbers that Joe Flacco has put up. CJ Stroud's been injured, missed 2 games. Talk about getting out of the flow a little bit there. But still, we live in a world. The Browns have the quarterback edge with Joe Flacco over CJ Stroud. I feel that. I truly feel that going into this game. Now, again, Stroud came back 2 games over 200 yards, couple of touchdowns, great. But I'm going to do this all week. I'm just going to continue to find ways that I feel good about the Cleveland Browns winning this game on Saturday.
Oh, yeah. I'm so confident.
I'm very confident in this game. Browns are 1-point favorites. There's all that. Let's take a look around the league, though. So this morning we already had some firings. We'll go around the league for the games coming up. So Atlanta has moved on from Arthur Smith. That's not really shocking there. Then it's the Washington Commanders. So they move on from Ron Rivera, and they're now taking a little bit of the page out of the Cleveland Browns book. They go get Bob Myers. He is a longtime NBA general manager, and a lot of people say of all the sports, he's one of the smartest people you could find in any sport. Then they also get Rick Spielman to come in, former Vikings general manager Chris Spielman's brother. The thing is, and this was kind of a little convoluted this morning, that what were these guys' roles? So apparently, these guys are not actual employees of the Washington Commanders. They have been brought in to help the search for their new coach, potentially new general manager. And I think about really what the Browns have done opening this can of worms. Now, the thing is, Sashi Brown, right? In a way, he was the precursor to Paul DePodesta and how everything else has played out. But the Browns were the first ones to do this, where we're going to take a smart sport mind, even if it's not our sport, and we're going to recalibrate them a little bit. And we're going to make some of these changes. They're going to have to get up to speed quick. But I do think that the Browns' success, how could you not look at the Browns' success and say that that's not had an impact on some of these other teams on how they approach it? And I know Paul DePodesta is very polarizing in this town. And there are people that think he's calling in, radioing in plays. They think that he's got the complete and utter control of this team. I tell you that that's not true. But still, that, he has an impact. And it's got to be a positive one. It's got to be, because when you see other teams, what do they say? Imitation is the most sincere form of flattery, right? You have teams that are now trying to take a page out of the Browns' book. Isn't that nice? How nice does that statement feel? You have other NFL teams trying to take a page out of the Cleveland Browns book. The joy that I have, part of the joy I have this morning, Ryan, we're not worrying about any of that. We're gearing up for a football game. While other teams are firing coaches and they're going to have to axe Belichick this afternoon and all this other kind of stuff is fine. And you just sit back and you watch it implode. You watch it implode. But I just thought it was interesting to see that that some of these teams are taking the mindset of the Browns. We'll get a smart sports mind, even if it's somebody from another sport, bring them in, and they'll help us out with all that as it kind of plays out. But it's pretty interesting. Pretty interesting there. Give me a dark horse that hasn't been fired already. So no Rivera out. That's not crazy. Arthur Smith's not crazy.
Dark horse?
Give me a dark horse. By the end of the day, you'll be shocked.
Oh, end of the day.
Well, not end of the day.
I see what
a dark horse candidate.
Okay. I'm not positive that they would. They did miss the playoffs. Dennis Allen.
I think Dennis Allen is potential. After that blow up yesterday, we'll get to that coming up and around the league. But I could see that with Dennis Allen. We're all eyes on Vrabel. The Mike Tomlin stuff, because I know Schefter had something that he said on ESPN yesterday about, Tomlin's future. I think he's pretty set. I think he's pretty secure. Zach Taylor should be back. He will be probably, all this kind of stuff. So you really kind of, you sit down and you just kind of, I always try to tie things back to the Cleveland Browns. No real impact on the division. You kind of sit back. Kevin Stefanski's your head coach. I love it.
Kevin O'Connell.
I think he's good.
Yeah.
I think he's good. I think he's a really smart young head coach. So I think you keep it on there. To our Twitter question this morning, up at Matt Fontana Show, we're asking everybody, are you at all concerned about the Browns resting their guys this past weekend? Overwhelming on this one, 95-9. People say no. Buck Zip said we needed a rest after the week 5 bye. Diamond on Twitter. What's the alternative? Play the starters and Myles Garrett or Joe Flacco get hurt? We're dead in the water before the playoffs even start? No, I understand that, but are you concerned about the rust and the rest? Jess tweets, I think something that needs to get brought up more. The Browns corners are super sticky. We're talking about the Stroud matchup here. Teams in the AFC just don't have the skill players to win that matchup. Stroud is in trouble. I mean, yeah, we play a lot of man coverage. It's sort of the stickiness that Jess is talking about there when you're on the guys. Nico Collins, a big-bodied guy. I'm a little concerned about him just because he is that big and that good. But still, yeah, I think it's going to be a lot of trouble there for C.J. Stroud coming up for this weekend. Also, how you navigate this week. The Browns, unlike a lot of weeks past, I don't feel like enter this week with a lot of injury questions. I hope and I feel like Joe Bitonio's over his back. Amari Cooper with the heel will continue to be kind of my big circle question there. But Ryan, really, other than that, you're healthy. Obo Okoronkwo got back out there. He said, I felt good. He's got the pectoral. He's got the harness in, so he seems like he's good to go. It's just, there's so many things lining up and pulling for the Cleveland Browns right now. You go into this week of full preparation without battling very many injuries. Yeah, the only thing that could change things is if you were at home. Because the Browns truly do have a home field advantage. They have built that up finally. That's a credit to all you fans out there that go to the game and give it the true home field advantage. But you enter this week solely focused on this game. You don't have to worry about injury. Houston, I'd be worried about Willie Anderson's ankle. I'd be worried about that. And they're still trying to overcome some of their major injuries that they had with Tank Dell going down. Browns enter this week just on this game, which is great, which is absolutely fantastic. Good.
Yep, I was waiting for you. I was waiting for it. I know exactly what you're going to say.
Dustin Hopkins.
Yep.
I got out ahead of myself there. I put the cart before the horse. I raced on out to this. We got to figure out what's up with Dustin Hopkins. Yeah. There are people that feel like he's going to be good to go for this game. I kind of feel like I'll believe it when I see it. Like when we get him out to practice, I'll feel better about it. But yeah, it's Dustin Hopkins. I mean, Riley Patterson, we need Dustin Hopkins. And it's like, really, if I was the Browns, a goal yesterday really should have been just get into field goal range. And even on third down, if you got to kick the ball, do it just to try to help out. Patterson did not attempt a field goal yesterday. 2 for 2 on extra points. That was it. Maybe that was one thing that the Browns missed yesterday, was getting Riley Patterson some kicks in a game. Yeah, it's Dustin Hopkins. I guess I start by saying I feel like, do I feel really good about Dustin Hopkins playing this game? I'm hopeful. You're right. That is the big one for the Browns. That is the big one for the Browns this week. But if that's what you got to deal with, you got everybody else healthy, you're ready to go for that. All right, let's turn our attention. National championship tonight. Do we have our boost? Is it ready to go? Do you have it up?
I do.
All right, can you pull it up? All right, can we go?
There it is.
Here it is. Tipico, folks. Get signed up. What side of the screen is it on? This side.
Yeah. That one. Yep.
Doing my best Vanna White here. There's our boost, folks, with our friends at Tipico. Get signed up today. A brand new code for you new players out there. Get signed up with Tipico. Here's what you do. Download the app, deposit and bet $25, and use that code Fontana100. It's my last name, Fontana, Fontana100. You deposit and bet $25. You get $100 in bonus bets. Ryan, you could use that $25 on our boost. Tell everybody what it is this morning for our big Tipico boost tonight for the national championship.
Alrighty, we're going the Huskies today, Matt. Washington to cover that 4.5 spread, and as well as, you love it, Matt, the game under at 56.5.
Yes.
Those two legs, thanks to Tipico, boosted a plus 300 tonight.
Dude, come on now. Come on now. Is it up? It's up, right?
Yeah.
Hang on. Load into my Tipico app as we speak here. Face recognition in. See more. Fontana's big play boost. What do you think, Ryan? A big 10 spot this morning? 10 spot it is. Boom. Done. Can I talk about Tipico for a second, too? You know the glorious email that I got this morning, too? And I'm not saying that this is, listen, this is, you get these as you go. I got a nice little email. They'll do a deposit match for me coming up for $25. And that's not part of the promo code right now. Like, again, Fontana 100 when you sign up. But I love this about Tipico. They'll drop you some bonus bets from time to time. They'll do this deposit match. And frankly, I think I'm probably going to do it. I'm going to throw another $25 in my account just because they'll match, and then I can bet that out for the rest of the season. We're all in with Tipico, folks. We love them. They're absolutely the best. Get signed up today. Use that code Fontana100 when you sign up. For this game tonight, it'll be a lot of people, as Ohio State fans as we are, instantly discrediting Michigan. And it's tough for me because of my just blind hatred for Michigan. I keep questioning, Ryan, how the hell they keep doing this. I really do. And I'm going to lean Washington just because I'm not going to root for Michigan. And I sit there, but it's like, I'm like, how is Washington not going to wipe the floor with Michigan? Like, how is this not all Huskies all day? And the fact that it's a 4.5 point spread is crazy for me. Another question I love to ask people out there. Are you excited for the game tonight? Are you excited for the national championship game tonight? I feel like it's falling flat. And I had this conversation on ESPN radio last night. Do you think it's part because it's Monday night? You know, the national championship has this aura around it because it's Monday night. And I know that they're never going to go up against the NFL, and the NFL owns this weekend, and they own the playoff weekend coming up. And you are conditioned to watch Monday Night Football, right? So there's that easy flow of sitting down, watching the game tonight. But I said that after the semifinals, too. I feel like this was the worst case scenario for the NCAA. I got no juice for this game. I think I'd have more juice if it was Alabama, and I think I'd have a little more if it was Texas. I really think this was the worst case scenario for the NCAA. Now, millions of people will watch tonight because it's the national championship. There will be people like us who just placed our bets on this game, and we'll sit back and we'll watch, and it'll be a lot of fun. But I'm not feeling it. I am. I'm watching the game because I want to see Michigan lose. There's no part of me that wants to watch Michigan win a national championship. So I'm all Huskies all morning. All Huskies. Go. But I got no juice. I got nothing for the game. You feeling anything for tonight? And then also the fact that we are going to – what time is this game going off tonight?
Probably 9 or 8:30, whatever it is. It's always just way too
Oh,
late.
it's only 7:30. That's not bad.
Oh, they moved it up.
That's not bad.
That's
yeah, they moved it up. All right.
That's good to know.
All right, I take that back. It's not so bad.
No, I mean, I'm not
That's
really excited. I'm not the biggest college football junkie anyway, so this game definitely – I'm still going to watch it by all means.
Oh, no, I'll watch. Yeah, we're all going to watch.
But
Can I give you a quick solution to the Monday thing?
Sure.
Here's my idea. Why don't you play the national championship on Friday? Because then you get them their pseudo bye, and you can play on Friday. The only thing is you're not really conditioned to watch football on a Friday. But I feel like that would just be a great kickoff to a playoff weekend of NFL games, too. I don't know. It's been that way forever. It's going to change. You know, expanding out the playoffs with all these more bowl games, they're going to have to get all this figured out. I'd take a look at it. I would take a good, hard look at having a national championship on a Monday because it's just fallen flat for me. It's fallen completely flat for me tonight. I placed my good wager here this morning on Tipico, so I'm ready to go. So I'm going to sit down. Folks, that's what I love about it, too. Place $5 bet. I bet $10. $10 on this game tonight. That's it. And I'm going to sit down, and I'm going to act like that's $100,000 that I got bet. I love it, so I will certainly be entertained with that game tonight. So get signed up, ready to go. All right, we'll do Around the League coming up, but want to remind everybody about our day here on Mondays. Mondays is always our busiest day here at Big Play. So we kick things off 9 to 11, Chico 12 to 2. Tonight, Reflog, Cleveland, Big Play Cleveland show as it's been rebranded. They're going to be up tonight with a massive show. You got Blake and Greg Williams back with Come Get Some. First show of the year for them. You got Hanford Dixon. You got it all on a Monday night. Bobby Carpenter, Anthony Schlegel last night. Tuesdays, Josh Maria Cribbs. And that's when welcome to Enter the Jungle.
There you go.
With James Rapine, our new Bengals show. That'll be Tuesday night as well. So we kick off your playoff week the right way right here on Big Play, folks. Follow us on Twitter. We're at Big Play. All the shows have their individual handles. Follow us at Matt Fontana Show. Drop us a follow there if you can. Of course, YouTube, Twitter. We're going to be on IG soon. And let me remind everybody about BigPlay.com because we got the Flacco shirt. I saw we did a boost yesterday with Tipico for the Browns game. It didn't hit, unfortunately. But part of that, too, we're going to give away some swag. So we have some cool T-shirts up there. We got one Joe Flacco related up there on our Big Play website. So check it out. Can you pull that up on our stream? Is that too hard for you to do? I see you have it up.
I can do it in the break.
All right, do it in the break. We'll do it later. See all of our shows. It's right there, rocking and rolling right here on Big Play. All right, let's do this right. Let's catch a break because when we come back, we're going to go around the league. We're going to talk about every single game that was played this past weekend, some interesting ones, the firings, all getting through, and we'll continue on. Browns, Houston, Saturday, 4:30. Can it be there already? We got a week of anticipation. We got you locked and loaded. Fontana show right here on Big Play. Stay with us. We go around the league. It feels like a win. I don't care what happened yesterday, but nonetheless, a lot of teams won, a lot of teams lost in the playoffs, out of the playoffs. Let's do it. Ryan's got the games. We go around the league here on the Fontana Show. Welcome back, Ryan.
All right, Matt. Well, somehow, some way, the Steelers find a way into the playoffs after Mason Rudolph beat the Ravens 17-10 in a pretty boring game. But now the Steelers get the final wild card and they will play the Buffalo Bills.
It's not that they won that game, because frankly, it shouldn't have been that close with Tyler Huntley in there for the Ravens. That's not what I'm talking about there. It's that they had everything else break their way to make it on Sunday. Dude, that is incredible. It really is incredible. The thing is, they're not, we believe they're not going anywhere. We don't think that they're going to do very much. And that's what you've thought all season about the Pittsburgh Steelers, and they still made the playoffs. So, I know people want to get all hyped and try to like, oh man, they're not going anywhere with Mason Rudolph. The scary thing about the Steelers will be if they can find a veteran quarterback to come in there and play to a high level. Keep Kirk Cousins away from them, please. I hope Minnesota wakes up this morning and says, we need to re-sign Kirk Cousins. I know he's coming off the Achilles, and I know he probably wants to venture out into free agency. Do you want to know who else I thought of? And I'm not as afraid about this guy as I would be Kirk Cousins. Doesn't it just stink that Derek Carr would find his way? Right? Doesn't it just like stink that Derek Carr would find his way to the Pittsburgh Steelers somehow? I don't know why. But that's just something I really feel. So keep them away from any semblance of a quarterback because they could really turn themselves into a good team. For Baltimore, they sat a lot of guys. You know, some guys needed to hit incentives and stuff like that. They're still a very, very scary team, and they get their bye week.
Well, in a win and get in, D'Amico Ryans and the Texans.
Yes.
Best Shane Steichen and the Colts in a pretty good game coming down to almost the end basically there. But the Texans now win the AFC South after the Jags lose. And now the Cleveland Browns are going to travel to Houston to take on the Texans in a rematch.
You know, I start with Houston in that game. Again, C.J. Stroud with some really electric throws in that game. The thing would be is if they can run the football effectively. Singletary didn't have a great game. And then it is Nico Collins. Now, I say that to say this. I know Noah Brown was injured in that game, and they had another receiver, Robert Woods, I think, that didn't play in that game. So I would believe that they'd get back for this. The thing about the Texans would be, and I'm not telling Jim Schwartz how to do his job, you bracket and you double Nico Collins, let somebody else beat us. No, Dalton Schultz, good as a tight end. Again, if they get Noah Brown back, I'm putting MJ Emerson on Nico Collins as that big-bodied guy, and I'm putting help over the top, and go ahead and beat us with somebody else. If you're going to beat us, that's fine, but it's not going to be by Nico Collins. That would be my biggest takeaway from that game. You flip it over for Indianapolis, same thing, man. And this isn't a shot at Gardner Minshew, who has played at, I think, a pretty good level there. But if Anthony Richardson turns out to be what they think he can be with Jonathan Taylor, I loved him coming out of the draft. I thought he was going to be he is so good. Some of those runs, that one touchdown, the 49-yarder that he had that other 25-yard run that he ripped off. Dude, he is really, really good. For the Colts, a lot like the Texans, you feel positive about your year. You feel positive about the future. But can I talk about pressure on Anthony Richardson coming in next year? Bro, you got this team around you. Shane Steichen bought himself a lot of cachet in Indianapolis after this season. But if you run it back with some of the guys that are on this team, you're going to look at Anthony Richardson and go, you give us a couple of bad games, we're going to bench you, right? There are going to be playoff expectations now on the Colts next year. That's a really tough thing to put on a rookie quarterback. That's in essence what Anthony Richardson will be next year, a rookie quarterback. Big year for the Colts next year. Big year for them. Pretty happy. Again, they'd be happy with their season as they should be. Texans, very good on offense, and we'll see that on Saturday.
Our old friend is going dancing with us, Matt. Baker leads the Bucs over the Panthers. They win 9-0.
Seriously.
Buccaneers win the NFC South. They are matched up with the Eagles in the first round. They'll be at home, so a good chance to beat a struggling Philadelphia team there for Baker.
Yeah, I don't know about that. The thing about
did you watch?
I know. I saw it. Did you watch the Buccaneers?
They're better than the Eagles right now.
Did you watch them against the Panthers? Come on,
They just gave up how many points to the Giants?
The Bucs and the Eagles. This is the limp game.
Bucs might be a favorite.
Stop
Without
that.
AJ Brown at home, they might be the favorite.
This is the limping into the playoff game. So
are the Eagles.
That's my point.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying is that of all the teams playing this weekend, there are not two teams limping harder into the playoffs more than the Eagles and the Buccaneers. Honestly, should make for a great game on Monday. You would think that, right? Like,
are you gonna be rooting for the Bucs? I will be.
We'll find out our wagers on Monday. Maybe we'll see how that goes. I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't say. I feel like the Eagles are going to win that game. That's probably where my bet would go. So I guess I would become a pseudo Eagles fan. Listen, Baker Mayfield, good for him. Like, I know there are people in this town that still are giant fans of his, and I know there's whatever. That faction is the time of our lives are over. And there's a world that Baker is a good NFL quarterback. It was a lot of what we saw here in Cleveland. It needs to be a specific system with a guy like Mike Evans. And if you got that, you can win. I don't understand the people that just still have that axe to grind. It doesn't impact you. Baker Mayfield, outside of you meeting him in the Super Bowl,
That'd be awesome.
it doesn't matter. Let him win his games. Who cares? I don't care.
I agree.
It doesn't bother me. People want to be right or wrong on Baker. Not right or wrong. My point is, they want to be right that he was good and they want him to succeed, or they want to be right that he was trash and they want him out of here. So there's always going to be rooting interest. Do you look around the league and go, yeah, I really wish ill will on Colt McCoy? Man, it upsets me to see Jacoby Brissett playing well in Washington. No, it's Baker. It's different. I get it. Dude, but the Panthers, and I know they fired Scott Fitterer this morning. Can I, just for a quick second as we go around the league? It's funny that when they took Bryce Young, who I would not have selected and I had my questions about, and there were questions asked of Frank Reich when he had the job, and he sits there and he goes, it was unanimous in the room. We were all on the same page that we were going to take Bryce Young, right? That room is now fired, right? Fitterer out this morning. Frank Reich fired. So you ask yourself, who pulled the trigger on that? Who truly did? And Tepper's too busy throwing his drinks at people. He's not going to fire himself. But you are still stuck holding the bag, right? And again, this is me making it sound like Bryce Young is the worst player to ever play quarterback in the NFL and that you're stuck with him. But you better figure something out down there for Carolina. Panthers are like atrociously bad. They are really, really bad at playing football. They'll have they won't have the first overall pick because it goes to Chicago. I mean, let's call it for what it is. They have no hope. Seriously. And I'm not saying that just to be, hyperbole. I'm not saying that just to pour some sauce on this. They literally have no hope down there in Carolina. They want to put all their eggs in the Jim Harbaugh basket and throw a bunch of money at him. Fine. That don't fix the problem, man, that you got not a lot of good football players on that team, right? You got a couple. Derek Brown, maybe J.C. Horn on that defense, Brian Burns, sure. You don't have much going on off it. It ain't Chuba Hubbard. You will probably regret the Miles Sanders signing, and it ain't Bryce Young, man. They got problems down there. They don't even have picks to bail themselves out with. Best of luck down there in Carolina.
Detroit gets their 12th win of the season, but it comes at a cost.
Yeah.
Dan Campbell's questionable decision to leave Sam Laporta in. Now his status is questionable, I believe, for the playoff
that
game.
knee, it looked gruesome, man.
Yeah.
That looked like a twisted knee. It didn't look good.
But Vikings, a pretty bad end of their season, getting blown out by Green Bay, and then now this loss to the Lions. But good for the Lions. They're matched up with, I believe, the Rams.
They do, because they get Matt Stafford coming back to Detroit. For Detroit, I was kind of questioning how it was going to go post that debacle in Dallas. By the way, did you see the Dallas tweet or the Detroit tweet having fun with it? Yeah. And they said, so for those that don't know about the guy that didn't report eligible with Dan Skipper and Taylor Decker, they posted a video of Dan Skipper walking in and they say, getting ready to go to work. And then they tag Taylor Decker, like just to make fun of the twist there with the referees. I was happy that Detroit was able to put that aside, go out there and take care of business. They had their starters in there. Why? Could they have gotten up to the 2 seed if a fluky thing happened? Like if both Philly and Dallas lost, because they already clinched the North.
They are the 2 seed.
Oh, Detroit is?
Yeah.
What were they playing for then?
I don't know. I'm almost positive.
Could they have lost the 2 seed? Maybe. I don't like that's. I'm trying to rationalize why the hell Dan Campbell would play his guys like that. And I gotta say it, like,
well, actually, yeah,
there had to have been
because
something,
Dallas,
right?
If Detroit lost, since Dallas won, Dallas would have been the 2 seed.
Okay, so they had something to play for. That's a little more palatable. But yeah, losing Sam Laporta definitely sucks. So I was gonna say, like, I'm on Ross St. I mean, they played their full contingent there in Detroit. Nice win for them. For the Vikings, Again, I'd put you got to bring Kirk Cousins back. I don't really see another option there. Justin Jefferson is elite. I think Jordan Addison is very good. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? I'd be all right with Kevin O'Connell. Does that sound convincing? I think I'm good with Kevin O'Connell. I think I'm all right. Minnesota could be a scary team. I think if they get Kirk Cousins back or find a guy to his equivalent, they could be something there. To the offseason they go, though, in Detroit, playing, they got Sunday night game.
Well, not a great ending for what could be the end of an illustrious career there in New England for Bill Belichick.
Yeah.
They fall to the Jets. They only win 4 games this season. There was a report that came out this morning that says Bill Belichick is still heavily interested in the Pats' future, but time will tell. That's coach speak. Nobody knows what's going to happen except probably Robert Kraft, obviously.
Oh, he knows.
But a
Everybody
horrible ending to what was, in my life, the first dynasty that I witnessed play in the football.
Well, did you see that stat? It ended like a 14-game losing streak for the Jets to the Patriots. That's insane. For Belichick, of course, I'm not going to answer any questions about my future, and I'm only going to talk. Dude, the first question in his post-game press conference was about the backup quarterback. Yeah. They'll move on. It's the right move to make. The issue remains the same thing with Carolina. What is the hope for the New England Patriots? What got Bill Belichick fired was not Bill Belichick, the coach. It was Bill Belichick, the general manager. They are void of talent on that New England Patriots team. They need a quarterback. They need a wide receiver. They need a running back. They need some offensive line help. They have problems with their team. So people... Can I write you on my little conspiracy theory here? People instantly want to go to Mike Vrabel taking that job, right? He's a Patriots legend. I think he's going to be out in Tennessee. Do you know why Mike Vrabel's not going to take that job? Because Mike Vrabel has ascended to a coach that doesn't need to go through a rebuild. What the Patriots need to do is suck it up for a couple of years. They have a top 10 pick in the draft and suck for 2 to 3 years. Mike Vrabel's not going through that. Mike Vrabel's going to go coach a team that is actually pushing for the play. Like, I keep saying the Chargers job. Unless Vrabel sits out for a year and waits for the Ohio State job to go open. I don't know. We'll see how it plays out. I don't think he's taking that Patriots job. I would just promote Gerard Mayo. He's their hot-minded guy, defensive coach there. They got a lot of problems. They got a lot of talent issues there. For Belichick, the Washington job gets circling there. The thing is, for the Commanders to bring in Bob Myers and Rick Spielman like they did, are they really going to come up with Bill Belichick? You know what I mean? These guys are going to get paid, I would venture to say, hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars, to go find the head coach, the right head coach for the Washington Commanders. I don't see a mathematical formula or a computer that spits out Bill Belichick as the right answer there. Belichick, place your bet right now, Ryan. Is he coaching in the NFL next year? This season, sorry, the 2024
I could see him
season.
taking a gap year if he even wants to.
Oh, he's not
come
taking
back.
a gap year. If he doesn't coach, he's done. He's 72, Ryan.
But I don't know until you find the right situation for I don't know.
Dude, I think he's done. I really think he's
Could
done.
be. My bold prediction, though, is I think the Patriots are going to trade up and get Caleb Williams, and the Bears are going to stick with Fields.
Okay. All right. I like that bold prediction, and then maybe that job becomes a little more entertaining.
Because then, if Washington, I would imagine they need a quarterback. So
Yeah.
I can't. I mean, if they pass on Marvin Harrison, then let Chicago get Marvin Harrison to pair up with Justin Fields. But
Yeah.
But I don't know. Only time will tell that. But good, interesting ending here to the Falcons Saints game. Arthur Smith not very happy about what Jameis Winston said, a collective team decision to get the touchdown on the 1 yard line as time expired. But now we know that Arthur Smith is out, and he had more than a few words for Dennis Allen after the game. He
did. So here's what happened. It was a complete blowout, 41 to 20 something. The offense goes out there in the red zone, and Dennis Allen says, "Take a knee." Well, Jamal Williams, the running back for the Saints, who formerly led the league in touchdowns just 2 years ago in Detroit, he hadn't scored a touchdown all year. So famous Jameis and the offense says, "Oh, let's get Jamal Williams a touchdown here." And they run a fake spike play and give him the ball for a touchdown. I don't blame Arthur Smith for being irate. I mean, he called Dennis Allen every name in the. He was just like, "What the was that? What are you doing?" Freaking out. I don't blame him. I don't. That's pretty bad. Now, this is not Pee-wee. This is not kids. These are grown men playing a game for a lot of money. I get the other side of it is sack up and don't get destroyed like that. Neither team is involved in mine. I don't really care what they did or didn't do. Is it a bad look? Yeah. There's some level of sportsmanship. There's some level of decorum that has to be had there, and it wasn't upheld. Now, the question for the New Orleans Saints is, how do you look at Dennis Allen and go, dude, you got your players going rogue here? You got players that say, I don't give a damn, this is what we're going to do? How does that reflect on Dennis Allen? He's the guy that I said I'd be on a hot seat today. Arthur Smith got fired because they lost 4 to their last 5 and got smoked with the playoffs still on the line yesterday. They're another team. They're a little more attractive than some of these other jobs. Still need a quarterback. It's not either Desmond Ridder or Taylor Heineke. They both suck. But still, I don't know, man. I don't know how you look at Dennis Allen after that game and go, dude, your players did what? I'd be nervous if I was him this morning. I would be.
Well, speaking of suck, Matt, the Jaguars, they lose their playoff spot.
How did you look at Doug
Peterson
Peterson
to the
now?
Titans 28-20. Their playoff hopes are gone. Their season is over. And Trevor Lawrence has had anything but a steady season. There's going to be some questions to answer there in Jacksonville. And I guess a good ending to what could be the end of Vrabel in Tennessee.
Well, let's start with the Jags. Is that not karma for that playoff game last year? Right? They basically had it in the bag. Ryan, when we entered the month of December, the Jaguars were 8-3 and in the number 2 seed in the AFC. They finished out 1-5?
They lost, yeah.
And all 5 of those losses came with Trevor Lawrence. Their only win came with C.J. Beathard. Lawrence got hurt. He had the shoulder. He had the concussion. We saw him here in Cleveland. And they had a really tough schedule on the way out. I'm not saying they didn't. You got to make the playoffs next year if you're Doug Peterson. I mean, I'm a big Doug Peterson fan. I think he's a really good coach, but that's a really bad loss on their part. Yes, you're questioning Trevor Lawrence. You're not going anywhere. I think Trevor Lawrence is still going to be a good quarterback in the NFL. But that's what a collapse. And it's like football karma, man, for that playoff game that they had last year. To the Tennessee side, you heard Derrick Henry right after the game about say goodbye to the Titans fans. They're going through a rebuild. I wouldn't put all my eggs in that Will Levis basket. I think Vrabel's gone, and I do think Derrick Henry can help a team. I think Derrick Henry is still got some gas in the tank. You didn't want to stick around there and wait through all this crap. So it's the end of an era with him. It's the end of Mike Vrabel there. Tennessee's at a real pivotal point right now. They're feisty. They had a little bit going. I think they're going to suck one more year, get some draft picks, and figure it out. But they need a quarterback back. They do. I don't think it's going to be Will Levis there, and they play it on out.
Alrighty, well, the Seahawks, they edge out the Cardinals 21-20, but they still miss the playoffs due to the standings. Green Bay got that final wild card over them. But the Cardinals, not a horrible ending to their season, Matt. I do feel confident saying that they feel comfortable in Kyler Murray being their future quarterback.
I was going to ask,
and
is that now quieted down? Yeah.
All things considered, a solid year for what was for Jonathan Gannon in what was supposed to be the worst team in the league.
Well, and you turned it around with Kyler Murray. They really don't have a choice, right, but to run it back with Kyler Murray. And the question will continue to be, can you win with a guy like him, right? With as much as he runs, with as small as he is. And you ask yourself, it's a little, like, here's not the blanking match, but the stare-off here between, like, the Bears and Justin Fields, and then also Kyler Murray and the Arizona Cardinals. Because you can't have both those guys be available, right? If you're Arizona, you might get your hand forced. Let's say Chicago moves on from Justin Fields, right? Who would you rather have, Kyler Murray or Justin Fields?
Probably Justin Fields.
I would say Justin Fields, right? So now Arizona will in no way get the return on the investment that they wanted to get for Kyler Murray. So that's where they're sitting here going, well, what are you guys going to do with Justin Fields? Now, they hold on to Justin Fields. Arizona can enter the market and say, okay, here's Kyler Murray available now. Who wants to come get him? Again, I don't know if many teams are going to line up with the contract and with the injury thing and all that. If I'm Arizona, with how you did play, I'd keep it status quo. Add some pieces, get him some more offensive weapons. I think you found something with Trey McBride. Get a couple more receivers in there. James Conner's fine at running back. And you did build with Jonathan Gannon. Jonathan Gannon finished strong. They finished really strong there, which is what you want out of a rookie head coach. Arizona could be a team that could be contending for the playoffs next year. I think they'll run it back with Arizona. I think they'll run it back with Kyler Murray. Now, Seattle. One of my bold predictions has been, is Pete Carroll hanging up? And you might be saying that's crazy because Seattle is a really talented football team when you think about it. Here's what I would do, and I didn't look this up. Is Tyler Lockett under contract next year?
I have no idea.
You need to move on from Tyler Lockett. Because your future is DK Metcalf. There's a potential out after this season. Tyler Lockett will be finding somewhere else to play
I would
football
take
next
him
year.
in Cleveland.
I'd love Tyler Lockett. You sign me up for Tyler Lockett. I don't want to do it because we still have a playoff game to go. That's off-season stuff. Michael Lynn Evans or Tyler Darren Lockett. Give me one of those two. That'd be great. You move on from Tyler Lockett from this. You have DK. You have Jackson Smith and Jigba. I think they got some kind of... The thing is, they have good... Devin Witherspoon is a beast, right? You have a good team. Here's why, if I was Seattle, you fell short of expectations, did you not? You paid Geno Smith all that money. But I still look at that team and really feel like they should make the playoffs. Do you hold Pete Carroll accountable for that? Everybody loves Pete Carroll. He's energetic, and I know the players would sit there and say it's not in him. But when you have a team that is talented and falls short of expectations, you get your coach fired. I could see Pete Carroll retiring. I could see Seattle coming to him and going, hey, man, if you don't mind, it looks better than us firing you. Can you go out and retire? That'd be nice. The thing is, you're entering a... I almost said cesspool because I can't think of anything better. You're entering a blank storm of all these teams needing coaches. You got 5, 6, 7 teams that are going to need coaches this offseason. Do you really want to enter that? There's only so many coaches to go around. I think Seattle's a very good football team. I'm just keeping an eye to see if Pete Carroll comes back next year.
Packers get their way into the playoffs, that final wild card spot. They beat the Bears at home 17-9. And all things considered, Matt, I got to think Green Bay fans are pretty happy given the turnover from a Hall of Fame quarterback in Aaron Rodgers to Jordan Love.
Dude, Jordan Love makes some spectacular throws. Christian Watson, and they'll deal with this in the offseason, they have got to get his hamstring thing figured out, man. Because I think he's a talent, and he could be really good. Could you imagine if they just held on to Devontae Adams? Could you imagine if they had another high-level receiver on that team? I'm drinking the Jordan Love Kool-Aid, man. He's going to be really good. Spoiled to the riches. What is it, 30 years probably to go from Favre to Rodgers to potentially Jordan Love? And I'm putting a lot on it. It's his first year. But he finishes the season out 7th in yards, 2nd in total touchdowns, and 9th in QBR. Come on, man. That kid's going to be really good. Matt LaFleur is a great head coach. He's a good offensive play caller. I'm a big Aaron Jones fan, too. Keep him around. Packers got something going on. That NFC North. The AFC North, without a doubt, is the best division in football. Did you hear this statistic? The AFC North is the first division since like 1936.
5, I think, but yeah.
1935 to have all of their teams finish with a winning record. Isn't that something? That's crazy. AFC North is the best division in football. There's a world that the NFC North becomes a real meat grinder next year. Or cheese grinder, I guess is probably. Yeah, you meat up there. You know, Wisconsin area. That's kind of what they do up there. Detroit, they're all good. Good meat. It's going to be a meat grinder. I think Jordan Love's going to be really good. I think Justin Fields is going to be really good. They're going to run it back with Matt Eberflus. I don't know if I'd quite do that. But you saw the Bears. DJ Moore, great trade. Cole Kmet's really good. Run the football there. Positivity for the Bears. I'll tell them this. You hold on to Justin Fields. Don't do it. I know it's tempting. I know we try to play Madden and you want to sit there and you might make these moves and make these trades. Don't do it. Hold on to Justin Fields. It's the right move. Jordan Love's ascending. He's going to be really good.
When a game nobody really cared about and probably didn't even watch, the Chiefs beat the Chargers 13-12, but a game that really had no implications. I guess the news of the game is that Travis Kelce failed to get 1,000 receiving yards on the season, something that we're not accustomed to.
Yeah, none of those guys didn't even play. I watched it because it was on Red Zone. Easton Stick, just not good. Chargers, man. So Chiefs are whatever. And I know people will get into what the Chiefs are for the playoffs. I still, dude, it's Patrick Mahomes, and I can't count him out in the playoffs. I just can't do it. Especially if Pacheco's going to be able to run the way that he did towards the end of the season. So the Chiefs will talk a lot more throughout the week.
Well, I'll regurgitate everything I just said about that game to this game.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. Look, can I talk Chargers for a second?
Yeah,
no, sorry.
yeah,
I was getting all comfortable over here. Let's have a conversation about the LA Chargers. What do they do? What do the LA Chargers do? Is Justin Herbert the guy? Is Justin Herbert the guy?
Yeah, he is.
Okay.
He is.
Austin Eckler, gone. Okay. Keenan Allen, a year older. Defensively, all your good guys got hurt. And now you need a head coach.
Hire Harbaugh, draft Brock Bowers.
There is so much about Harbaugh to that job. It's almost, you can't avoid it. And I think, Harbaugh back on the West Coast, I guess, Stanford 49ers, all that other kind of stuff. I guess to a point, he might be what the Chargers need. Because he would come in there and just rip everybody, throttle everybody, piss off everybody. But I think that, that's my thing with Jim Harbaugh. He is like a bottle rocket. He's really good for a short time, and when it implodes, it implodes. I don't see Jim Harbaugh being a guy that keeps a job for 10 years, maybe anywhere outside of Michigan. Michigan, he can keep that job. He has kept that job for a long time. In the NFL, it's a different game, man. He's not keeping any NFL job longer than 5 years. So you have to ask yourself, if you're the Chargers, do you go mercenary here, bring him in to try to turn around? Because there's also no guarantee, right? You just sit there, and I was going to say this about the Jets, and did you just put all your eggs, Aaron Rodgers will be back. That's fine. You bring in Harbaugh, you just put all this in. Oh, yeah, Jim Harbaugh will fix it around for 3 years. Is he actually going to leave you in a better spot? Name me a job that he left in a better spot than when he left. You know what I mean? He didn't leave any of these jobs in a good spot. I'd avoid it. But the Chargers are also desperate. Excuse me. The Chargers are also the most attractive job opening, are they not?
Yeah, probably.
Probably. So they should be able to get their pick of the litter on this one. It'll be interesting to see who their hire is. It should be an offensive mind to go with Justin Herbert, but going to be a long offseason there for the LA Chargers.
Well, Broncos-Raiders, again, a snooze fest. No implications in that game, but the Raiders do win 27-14, and we all but know Antonio Pierce is more than likely going to lock down that job.
And now you got the guys coming out saying that rightfully so, hey, we're in this guy. The only thing is, and here's the other X factor, it's bad haircut man himself, Mark Davis. He does sometimes not smart things, and the not smart thing here would be moving on from Antonio Pierce, because here's the thing. These owners, these GMs, these decision makers, you have got to avoid temptation. The temptation is to jump into this and be making moves, and don't do it. Run it back with Antonio Pierce. I think he's really good. The same thing. A Raiders team you could sell me on if they just got a quarterback. I don't think Aiden O'Connell is the answer. Maybe they'll try to tell me that he is. Don't forget, too, on that team, they're going to get rid of Jimmy Garoppolo. They got to get rid of Jimmy. He's got fat money due. Another guy that I could see the Pittsburgh Steelers calling on the services of, but we'll see. Raiders are in a good spot. Broncos, they're moving on from Russell Wilson. What are they going to do? What are they going to do at quarterback?
Couldn't tell you.
Hang on. I got to find the NFL. Let me shout out to Dane Brugler. He writes for The Athletic now. He had the draft order yesterday, which, again, was so nice. I almost wanted to send a tweet about, we don't need to worry about this, but it's also we don't need to worry about it because we don't have a pick. Broncos have the 12th pick. Not great. Not great. I don't know. What do you do there? What do you do with Sean Payton? You're all in with them. Again, a pivotal offseason for the Broncos because they're spiraling out of control, and they need to stop it quick.
They need a quarterback, so I got to imagine. Penix.
He'll be there, and some people believe that if he has a strong game tonight, he could vault himself into being a top 10 pick.
I have to look at Tankathon to see the teams, but I doubt Drake May's going to fall that far.
You want the teams ahead of them?
Yeah.
Bears, Commanders, Patriots, Cardinals, Chargers, Giants, Titans, Falcons, Bears again, Jets, Vikings. Those are the top 11 teams ahead of the Broncos.
So I can only see about 4 or
So
5.
the Commanders are taking a quarterback. The Patriots are taking a quarterback. The Titans are probably taking a quarterback. Falcons, maybe? You might be down to the 4th guy. And if you're talking Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, Drake May, then maybe Penix, then maybe Bo Nix.
I'd be so mad.
I know, right?
If
But
my team drafted Bo Nix.
I don't know why. Doesn't Bo Nix seem like a Sean Payton kind of guy? I'm going to call my shot right now. Bo Nix goes 12 overall. He's going to go 12th overall to the Denver Broncos. Calling my shot right here as soon as the season ends. Broncos are spiraling. They need to stop it. They need to stop it quick.
Giants beat the Eagles as the Eagles continue to struggle. They have now lost, I believe, 4 of their last 5. They're heading into the playoffs playing their worst football. And to add on to that, an injury to A.J. Brown on that MetLife turf.
A jacked up finger for Jalen Hurts. Dude, this season is screaming what everybody didn't talk about. You lose both your coordinators and you see how the defense is bad, the offense is broken, guys are hurt. And Nick Sirianni's there in postgame just going, well, tough, things get tough and we all got to persevere through. All right, man, good luck. And it's to the point with the Eagles, I feel different than the Chiefs, right? The Chiefs, I still feel like flip the switch and you're back on and here you go. I don't feel that way for the Eagles anymore. I don't feel like they're a team that can all of a sudden flip this switch and turn it on. Now, mark my words, they will beat the Buccaneers on Monday night. They're going to win that guy. We'll put that money down. Right?
We can have a little wager.
We'll have a wager.
I think the Bucks will win.
You want to do a dinner wager? You and I have not gone out to dinner yet.
Yeah, we can figure.
I look for any excuse to get out of the house anymore. I know my wife's watching this, and honey, I love you very much, and I love our children very much, but it's the only way. It's like we have to schedule things so far out. So if we do this wager and I win, great. Either way, I say, honey, I got to. Ryan and I got to go out to dinner.
It's a win-win.
We got to go out to dinner. So we'll do a dinner on it on Monday. How about that? But I feel like the Eagles are going to win that game. For the Giants, playing hard for Brian Dable, man. And he'll be back, no question. The thing is, how do you let Saquon Barkley leave? If anything that he has proven to this season, it's that he is everything to the New York Giants. Now, conversely, if I'm Saquon Barkley, imagine you on a playoff contending team. I'd want out of there, man.
It's going to be a nightmare when I see Saquon Barkley in a Ravens uniform next year.
Do not.
I'm being honest.
Don't do it.
That would be my guess is where he's going to go.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Tell me he wouldn't fit in right there.
What if he goes and replaces Austin Eckler in LA? Can we get that going?
But don't get me wrong. I'd much prefer that, but I think he'd thrive better in Baltimore.
Because you know who's going to Baltimore.
What position?
Same position. You know who's going to Baltimore. You know that this is just too good to not happen.
Derrick Henry? Yeah, maybe.
Derrick Henry.
I'd rather have Barkley, obviously.
Derrick
but
Henry.
Yeah.
I would too, but can't you just see Derrick Henry in a Ravens uniform? For some reason, I see Saquon in purple and
I
mean, listen, Saquon, he's very good. Like, I tell you, Nick Chubb being number 1 for me and running backs, I love me some Saquon Barkley, and I love me some Jonathan Taylor. Like, I think those guys, and certainly Christian McCaffrey and Mostert who's been out and all that kind of stuff. But I think as far as electrifying, because running backs are such a tough position, right? But when I talk about guys that can basically do it on their own, Derrick Henry, Nick Chubb, Saquon Barkley, and Jonathan Taylor. Those are guys that no matter what their offensive line is doing, no matter what the defense tries to do them, they still rip off these runs. I guess McCaffrey to a point too. But if I'm Saquon, I'm like, dude, I ain't running this back with freaking Daniel Jones. I'm not doing that. If I were him, I'd get out of there. I would. But what are you going to do?
Rams beat the 49ers in a game that, again, had no implications.
Dude, we finally got Carson Wentz, Sam Darnold out there a little bit.
Yeah, take us back. But the news there is, of course, Puka Nacua breaks the rookie record for receptions and yards. And, Matt, I said it a couple shows ago. I do believe C.J. Stroud will win it, but if I'm them, I'm considering Puka Nacua for Rookie of the Year.
I sent this tweet yesterday that the Rams selected Stetson Bennett 49 picks before Puka Nacua. There were 19 wide receivers selected before Puka Nacua. Can I get you some of the names of the receivers that were taken before Puka?
Yeah.
Now, again, it's easy for me to sit here and throw you a name of, Jackson Smith and Jigba and Zay Flowers and all that kind of stuff. Darius Davis was taken before Puka Nacua. Justin Shorter of the Buffalo Bills was taken before him. Dontavian Wicks, but he's had a couple of good games there for the Green Bay Packers. I'll give you $1,000, not really, if you can tell me what team Trey Tucker was drafted to. You're your Cincinnati guy.
Oh, come on, Matt. You shouldn't bet me on that. He's on the Raiders.
Oh, yeah. Oh, God. You would have known that for
it's
Cincinnati.
Trey Tucker, baby.
Yeah, there you go. Charlie Jones plays for what team?
Charlie Jones. That sounds like a New York Giants.
Cincinnati Bengals.
Okay.
Cincinnati Bengals. And yeah, of course, Sed Tillman's there. But, dude, actually, this group of... Can just for a second, can I run you through the list of receivers that were in this draft class? Jackson Smith-Njigba, Zay Flowers, Jordan Addison, Jaden Reed, Rashid Rice, Marvin Mims, Tank Dell, Jalen Hyatt, Dontavian Wicks, and Puka Nacua. That's a pretty damn good. And then you add Sed Tillman in there. I didn't mention Quentin Johnson as a first-round pick, too. Those are some damn good receivers, man. Guys making some plays there out there. Puka's a beast. It's part of that offense, too. Rams are feisty, man.
Yeah, they are.
Call your shot right now. Would you take the Rams and the points for Sunday? I didn't look on Tipico. I didn't even know. Wait. Let's do this because did you look? Let's do Tipico's job for me. Not that they need us to, but I have fun doing it with it. What do you think the spread is? Lions, Rams. It's in Detroit. It's at Ford Field.
Honestly, 3.5.
I was going to say 4.5 for the Lions. Dun, dun, dun. 3. 3. I'll take the Rams on that. I'll take the Rams all day on that. Good end of the season for them. For the 49ers, too. A bunch of backups, but, all right. So be it.
Cowboys get the home field advantage that they so desperately need for this upcoming playoffs. They remain undefeated, 8-0 at home, Matt. Yeah, home field advantage is all they pretty much asked for.
They needed it bad. They don't play as well on the road. That's just kind of how it is. Yeah, not much going on there, too. Obviously, we know what happened to the Commanders this morning, firing their coach, but on to the playoffs there for the Dallas Cowboys.
Alrighty, and in the best game of the slate for the last week of the NFL season, the Bills beat the Dolphins. They win the AFC East. They are one of the hottest teams in the NFL right now. Dolphins, Tua struggles a little bit, but they desperately need to get Raheem Mostert and Jalen Waddle back for the playoffs.
And maybe they will. I don't know. The thing is, Miami looked like they took their foot off the gas. There are real questions with Tua. He didn't play well yesterday. I mean, there were some throws that were electric, but in totality, didn't play well. I didn't believe that Josh Allen was going to be able to do again. And oh boy, did he. Big game, big win for the Bills. I said this before the season. That was one of my big hot takes. I thought they were going to struggle this year. They have completely proven me wrong. They are hot into the playoffs, and they're a team that I think can make some noise. I do. Miami, I'd be a little concerned about their mental side of it, but the same thing, I think they could just flip a switch pretty quick with that offense and get right back into it. I wish that game was played again. I wish that would have played out, that they would have faced each other again next week. That was really a fun game to watch last night, though.
Yeah, it was. It was a great end of the season.
Yeah, it was. All right, great stuff. That's around the league. We'll get to our national championship picks coming up, but do you want to do a little bit of time hop here on a Monday to wrap things up?
Yeah, we want to jump into it?
Let's get into it. All right, as we always do, we go back this day in history and tell you what happened. Start with just a few years ago, 2020. Tom Brady, right after the season, posting on IG, "I still have more to prove," and in essence, announcing that he would be coming back to play in the NFL yet again. I know he said that he had an itch to do it again, like even just last year. He's done, but certainly worked out there for the Buccaneers, I would imagine. So, crazy day this day, 2019. All the coaching stuff. So the Browns, after 2018, they move on from, Greg Williams, friend of Come Get Some here on the Big Play Network, they was still in the running. So imagine this. Right after the 2018 season, you fired Hugh in season, you ran it out with Greg Williams, you played better, you had to look at the playoffs, you didn't make it. Here are the reports this day, 2019. That rap sheet, the Browns have not made a decision on Freddie Kitchens, but is getting strong consideration for that coaching job. And Kevin Stefanski was spotted coming back to Cleveland for a second interview. Now, they would not hire him in that cycle. It would be the next year that they did it. But we all know the drama with that, Paul DePodesta was pushing hard for Kevin Stefanski. He proved to be right in all that, and it worked out. Also, this day, 2019, Tampa hired Bruce Arians, a guy I really wanted in Cleveland. And he wanted to come here. He wanted to play the Steelers and all that kind of stuff. But obviously a good hire down there for Tampa Bay with Bruce Arians. This is one that gets lost in the pages of history, so to speak. But this day, 2019, it was reported that the Cavs got investigated for signing Patrick McCaw to a 2-year deal because they possibly were circumventing free agency. So I'd have to have somebody on to remember all this. Like, he played for the Cavs. Here's what it was. After remaining a free agent on the market for nearly 6 months, McCaw signed with the Cavs on December 30th of 2018. The Warriors had declined to match his offer, which was reportedly a non-guaranteed deal. He would then later be waived on January 6th after appearing in just 3 games with the Cavs, and the Cavs got investigated for that signing, which is interesting. I don't know how it all works out. This day, 2018, the Browns interviewed Ken Zampese for their offensive coordinator job. He eventually took the quarterback job because Todd Haley would come in as the OC. That was huge, trying to get his buddies from Cincinnati paid. Remember, he wanted Marvin Lewis here, Ken Zampese, all that kind of stuff. This day, 2017, Hugh Jackson had a teleconference to introduce Greg Williams as his new defensive coordinator. Quite a good hire there, I would have to say. This is non-sports related at all. This day, 2016, El Chapo was finally captured by Mexican authorities. I don't know, I guess I don't know, but I do. Like, how there are still people that are like career criminals. You know what I mean? Like, you think of like Al Capone way back in the day, or Danny Green, or anything like that. They're still out there, still bad people, very unfortunate. But El Chapo captured this day, 2016. This day, 2010, Beast Mode was born. Marshawn Lynch has that beast run over the Saints. I love Marshawn Lynch.
I do too.
I think he is so funny. I love all the commercials that he's in. There are athletes, their commercials fall flat and everything. Marshawn Lynch is a dog, man. He's the best. I love him. So, Beast Mode this day, 2010. Well, Ryan, not a game you want me to bring up. But this day, 2007, Glendale, Arizona.
Do I get a little box score trivia? Oh, or is this a Super Bowl?
No, it's not a Super Bowl.
Oh, no, way too early for Super Bowl.
What game is it?
What, in 2000 what year?
2007.
And this is the Browns, obviously?
No.
Oh.
No.
I don't
It should give it away. Who am I talking about then? It's another football team. It's not the Browns.
Did I miss a hint you gave me?
No. Go south.
Oh, the Bengals?
No, not that far south.
Is it the Buckeyes?
Yeah. Buckeyes 2007, a game that
is that when they lost when Ted Ginn got hurt?
41-14 to the Florida Gators. I wish Ted was here to ask him about it. Got hurt on that. We fought to the Florida Gators 41-14. Would you like your box score trivia?
Yeah, sure.
Starting quarterback for Ohio State that game?
2007. That was... Oh, I'm not a Buckeye junkie.
Heisman Trophy winner, Troy Smith.
Oh, okay.
He only threw for 35 yards in that game, by the way.
Huh?
Will you ever get Florida's starting quarterback?
No.
Chris Leak.
Yeah,
got that one. Tim Tebow had 39 yards rushing in that game. He did attempt to pass. Antonio Pittman was your leading rusher. I'll put this on you. I expect you to maybe get this. I want you to name me the leading receiver for each Florida and Ohio State national championship game this day, 2007, knowing that it wasn't Ted Ginn Jr. because he got hurt.
I don't even know if I could name you another receiver.
Very notable Ohio State receiver from the fact of that he's still involved with the team.
Oh, Brian Hartline.
Brian Hartline had 1 catch for 13 yards and your leading receiver.
Wow.
Yeah. Leading receiver for Florida. And I say it and I bring him up to say that you should know this guy because people say he goes down as one of the most electric football players in college ever.
A Florida receiver. I don't think I'm going to be able to get it.
Percy Harvin.
Oh, okay.
Percy Harvin had 9 for 60 in that game. Yes, it just went absolutely horrible for Ohio State this day. I remember watching that game. My dad took me over to his buddy's house. He had this giant, man cave basement, and we watched just get throttled. Basically from the start. 41-14 this day in history in 2007. This day, 1984, the NCAA made the announcement. 64 teams in the college basketball playoff. Of course, we know that it's more now. Do you think it'll ever expand? I think 64 is enough. With the rat tails and the play-in stuff, that's enough. That does it. I'm not a March Madness guy. I don't even fill out a bracket, but
I like the format how it is now.
I do too.
Not many people know that the NIL tournament has been going on longer than the
NIT. You mean
or NIL?
It's the world that we live in. But yes, the
NIT tournament.
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah. This day, 1963, the Mona Lisa came stateside for the first time. It was displayed in Washington for a time before it went to New York. Of course, it's over in the Louvre. Here's an interesting question. What's the most famous piece of art that you have ever seen in person?
Oh, I haven't seen much in person. I don't even know if I could name you something that was really notably famous in terms of artwork.
I saw the statue of David and the Sistine Chapel.
Yeah, that's hard. I don't know if you could top that.
Yeah, I mean, they're right up there. I was in Italy with my wife for our honeymoon, so those are the two for me. This day, 1962, some 21-year-old kid out of Columbus, Ohio, makes his first professional start at the Los Angeles Open. The Golden Bear, Jack Nicklaus, makes his PGA Tour debut this day, 1962.
He was all right.
I'd say it worked out for him. Pretty good. People always get wrapped up into it about who is better and this and that. I say Tiger because it's Tiger. Okay. You look at, and people, there's like those Twitter accounts that all they do is put out gaudy Tiger Woods stats. Like that one year where he basically won almost every tournament he played in. Like, Jack is great. Tiger Woods is the greatest golfer to ever play. I'm sorry, it just is. Very happy birthday goes out to Dwight Clark, of course, legend in Cleveland for that catch. Former Indians, on that home run that Jason Giambi hit. It was my ringtone for a little while.
Against the White Sox?
Against the White Sox, yeah.
I remember that.
Former Indians pitcher, here's the name of the past, Carl Pavano, celebrating a birthday today. Jeff Francoeur, who spent a spring training with the Indians, but was also notably of the Royals. Wrestler Rey Mysterio, Stephen Hawking, Elvis Presley, and David Bowie all celebrating
Stephen
birthdays.
Hawking might be getting canceled.
I mean, none of those names, like, everybody's freaking out about this Epstein list. There's no names on. Did you not really think that Bill Clinton, Donald Trump, and Prince Andrew were on that island? I could have told you that. I knew that, okay? Wait. I didn't know that because I was there. Stop that.
Whoa.
Stop that.
Whoa.
No, I was never. Unless you can actually start, like, giving me a list of people like, oh, my God. Wait and see. They should be held accountable. This is not something to be made fun of. There's serious stuff going on with that. I want the list out because those people should be held accountable. Only one movie for you today, and it's a really kind of hard one. All right? Do you want hard or easy to start on your hard? Okay. I'll give you the date. This day, 1993. Your first hint is we got an introduction to Jennifer Aniston. Okay. So this is one of her earliest film roles, and I'm Googling quick because shooting from the hip, I think this might be her first ever movie. Okay? It was her second movie ever, but her first one was an uncredited role. So this is the first credited role for Jennifer Aniston, of course, one of the biggest actresses in history and all that stuff. So there's your first hint. Your second hint is, with it being released on January 8th, 1993, it is very out of season for this movie to be released. Anything.
Very out of season.
Very out of season for this movie to be released.
Mm-mm.
It is semi-related to another well, actually, you know what? I take that back. It's a holiday coming up that has to do with it. So I guess it's not out of season. I thought of it as a Halloween-related movie. In reality, it has to do with a holiday that is right around the corner.
Valentine's Day?
What's right after Valentine's Day?
President's Day?
No. Okay, way after President's Day.
St. Patrick's Day?
Correct.
Oh, God. I don't know if I know any Jennifer Aniston movie about that.
Warwick Davis was in this movie. And, of course, he is known for playing Wicket, the Ewok in Star Wars. Played a lot of different roles. But this is one of his most famous ones as well. Do you know who Warwick Davis is?
No.
So nothing.
No, I'm not going to get it.
Have you ever heard of the movie called The Leprechaun?
I haven't. Oh, is that a horror movie?
It's a horror movie.
Yeah, I have.
Yeah.
Oh, that was a movie?
Yeah, that's it. Leprechaun. That's it. That's the movie Leprechaun. I've seen it. It's not great. It's actually really bad, but it's original. So, like, the thing is, it was intended to be a horror movie, but Warwick Davis kind of, how can you not make it funny about a leprechaun, right? But he's an evil leprechaun and Jennifer Aniston and all that other kind of stuff. But yes, I thought about it as it's out of season for Halloween, but it's actually kind of coming up for St. Patrick's Day. So yes, The Leprechaun came out this day, 1993. All right, good stuff on Time Up. I got a lot more things with the Browns, but let's save it for tomorrow. I've got playoff rankings I want to get into tomorrow, the guide to the playoffs, the hope for the Super Bowl for the Cleveland Browns. How do they make it? Their first look, reason for concern. We'll get to all that tomorrow, but we wrap things up. Typico, baby. Here we go. Tonight, Washington, Michigan. You know we're not betting on Michigan in this. I was said in this household. I felt like I was out. Ryan, you kind of like Michigan to cover like that, don't you?
Yeah, I do, to be honest.
All right,
with you, but
here's the
okay.
boost, and they can win maybe under 56.5 and Washington +4. Folks, that is just a 2-leg parlay, just 2 plus 300. I love it. Get to Tipico. Download the app, deposit and bet $25. Use the code Fontana100. It is right there on the screen. Our boost is right there on the screen. You can see it, and you'll be able to place that bet. I like that a lot tonight. I like Washington. Again, my Michigan bias is there,
I like the
but
cover.
I like it. I like the cover a lot, and I think this is going to be a defensive-minded game, really because neither one of those teams blew the doors off, 20-plus points and things like that. But I think there's going to be a little letdown from the fact of they just played last week after time off. Like, I could see this being a real slow starting game. I really could. So I like the under tonight, 56.5. Tipico, use the code BIGPLAY, Fontana100 when you sign up. They're the best. We love Tipico. Gambling problem, call 1-800. Ryan, is it sad that this is the end of an era tonight with college football? We've had this in our lives where we moved on. So really, I'm old enough to remember when the BCS first came around. And I'm a child of the BCS, and I love the BCS. I truthfully, and I'm being serious on this, I would love if they brought the BCS back and then just use the format that they have now. Keep your 12-team playoff, but let the BCS decide. But that's another conversation for another day. But tonight is the end of the 14 playoff. We go to the 12, and really, we are entering an unknown with college football. I'd be lying to you if I said I wasn't scared. There's a lot that the NCAA needs to get figured out. The transfer portal, the NIL, even how the playoff is going to look, how these bowl games are going to look. I'm a little afraid. Expansion is sometimes good, and I'm all for 12 teams in the playoffs. You got more meaningful bowl games after this bowl season that was just utter crap. I'm all for games that matter. I'm worried about NCAA football moving forward. I am. There are a lot of things that they got to get fixed, and I don't know if they're going to be able to get it done. Because I will tell you, I think college football is broken. I don't like the transfer portal the way that's currently set up. I don't like all this NIL stuff. It's taken away some of my joy of the season, of college football. And yeah, it's, Ohio State had a down year. That has a little to do with it. But Ryan, you're not even an Ohio State fan, right? Do you see where I'm coming from here? Like, I really think that this is just going to be such a pivotal moment for college football, and I don't think they're going to make the right moves. I'm really worried about this. I am.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting to see because you get rid of the whole issue that we dealt with this year of Florida State getting in, of Georgia getting in, but then it does kind of diminish it a little bit in the sense that you just said. But I guess, I'm all for it in terms of let's see it, let's try it and see how it works. I mean, it does give like teams, that I root for a better chance that aren't the elites like the Ohio States, the Georgia, the Alabamas, the Michigans. But I'm not too worried, maybe as much as you are, but I'll say this. I'm definitely more excited to see how it goes than I am worried.
I'm worried. And I'd like to take your tack. I'd like to say the excitement of seeing how it plays out. I guess I just have no faith in the NCAA they do anything right. All right, it's back, folks. Our big play bracket. Here we go. We've been off. We've had the holidays. We got the full week. And in honor of Ed and Eddie's birthday last week, your favorite 90s cartoon. There will be no question that Batman the Animated Series makes it. That is my guarantee. That'll be in that. But we're talking Hey Arnold. We're talking Rugrats. We're talking, you want to put The Simpsons? Should we put The Simpsons? I mean, it's a cartoon, but it's like, it's different than Dexter's Laboratory. You know what I mean?
I was like looking for, this wasn't 90s.
What?
It was Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Oh, when is that? When was that?
2005.
Oh, yeah. So close. But we'll do 90s in honor of Ed and Eddie's birthday. So tweet that. I'll throw it up at Matt Fontana 83, but you can also follow the show at Matt Fontana Show and tweet your suggestions. We'll get that rocking. We'll set the brackets out tomorrow. Really, for the Browns, remember, too, it's going to be that short week. So we're on Saturday. So the Browns will be in action tomorrow. We'll hear from Kevin Stefanski later today. Kind of keep our eye out. Dustin Hopkins, the big one to watch. Also, some news coming down already this morning. The Commanders have requested to interview Glenn Cook. He is the Browns' assistant general manager. He and Kat Raish might get jobs. That means compensatory picks for the Cleveland Browns. But Glenn Cook is a very smart guy. He's very good. And as Jack Duff and OBR just sent that out too, I agree with him. Get him to the NFC. Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah up there in Minnesota doing a good job. Glenn Cook, I think, is a really rising star. I'd like to see him in the NFC, so maybe he'll go to Washington, but we'll see how that plays out. Great stuff today. Playoff week, baby. Kicking things off. It's going to be a fun one. We'll get ready and get geared up for Saturday. Appreciate everybody joining us, as always, here on the Matt Fontana Show. Don't forget, Chico coming up 12 to 2. Tonight, we got the Big Play Cleveland Show with Reflog. We got Come Get Some with Blake and Greg Williams. And, of course, the Hanford Dixon Show all across our platform right here on Big Play. Great stuff for Ryan Tyler. I'm Matt Fontana, and as always, take it easy.